Well, the Sushanth Singh Rajput, SSR as he's called, he's mysterious death is presently under investigation of the CBI, which is a demand I made first on July 9th. And then it progressed and progressed, and finally the Supreme Court directed, because the Maharashtra government was not agreeable. So the Supreme Court had to use its powers under Article 142 and direct that the CBI take over. Now, he's not the first actor or even actress who has died under mysterious circumstances. But in the past, there was never this kind of public uproar. And there's a reason behind it. One is that, for example, take the example of Sridevi, no reaction. Then there was a Jia Khan or something like that, no reaction. And there have been many. And in this particular case, the reaction came out of the fact that he not only was known as a cinema actor, and he performed very well in the 3-4 films he did in the very beginning as a complete novice, but he was also a person interested in science and in education. He had actually served a little time before coming to cinemas in the Delhi School of Engineering, where you get admissions only by national examinations. So he came 7th, I'm told, in All India. And I'm also told that he had applied for admission in Stanford, and they gave him a scholarship, offered him a scholarship to come. And even while he was an actor, he was looking at artificial intelligence and various kinds of models, and seeking patents and so on. So therefore, such a good actor who has given up a career where he could have been, shining also, and then he dies suddenly for no apparent reason, and therefore his bhaktas who watch his film and so on, and then their parents and so on, it just had a ricochet effect. There was a huge national uproar, and the Maharashtra government's behavior was very peculiar. That first, when the police is informed, they go rushing to the apartment. He was living in his apartment, not in his bungalow, in Bandra, and they go rushing. And what do they find? They find a whole lot of people. The police doesn't clear them from the room and seal the thing. That's the first thing they have to do. They didn't do it. Then the police announces that it's a suicide. On what basis they announced it, we don't know. But even if they had announced it, whatever reason, they should have registered an FIR, because it's a cognizable offense. And suicide need not necessarily be that you took your own life. Somebody could have assisted you. Somebody could have convinced you. Somebody could have brainwashed you. That's under a crime of 10 years punishment under Section 306 of the IPC. So this mystery as to how this happened, because he was quite well the previous evening. He's supposed to have phoned up his sister in the morning. And it's only after 9 o'clock and before 11 o'clock, when the door was found locked, that he seems to have died. And they say that he died by hanging himself, with his robe, the belt of his robe or something like that, or his jacket, whatever. But he took something from his own clothes and did it. All right, in that case, when his body was discovered, why no photograph was taken? When he was brought down, they took a photograph, but that was all very convoluted photograph. His body is taken to a faraway place, the Cooper Hospital, not the near hospital, which is Leela Hospital, which also has a morgue. And therefore, one wonders why. Then the postmortem is done immediately in the night, the same night. And the doctors, who are 5 doctors, they write provisional. And they say asphyxiation, which means loss of breath due to hanging. Hanging by whom? By himself or somebody else? And, or lynching? None of that is described. Nor have they described the time, likely time of death. So it becomes an infructuous report. Who can organize all this? So I began investigating the Dubai angle, because the Hollywood we know is Dubai angle. Now there's one Sandeep something Singh or some person, and his name figures as, and the CBI is going to be very tough with him in questioning now, because he has said all kinds of things. He arranged for the girlfriend of say 7-8 months standing, called Ria something Chakrabarti, to go to the morgue and see and go to where this body was lying. Why would that be allowed? The parents were not allowed. And that's correct. In autopsy, nobody's allowed. And no video was maintained of the autopsy. You remember in Sunanda's case how Dr. Sudhir Gupta, who's now been named as chairman of the board for re-examining the whole thing, how he took a detailed video of her body and the injury marks and all that. So none of this was done. And this girlfriend or ex-girlfriend goes to the thing, and then she's heard saying to the dead body that, "I'm sorry." What do you mean, I'm sorry? Sorry for what? So therefore, I began looking at the connections. I found that this Sandeep chap, who's now considered one of the most fishy characters for interrogation, he has been to Dubai many times. Second, there is a blood-clotting mark in his neck of Sushanth. I say some blow was hit. Now they say that there is something called, the Dubai guys have it, called a stun gun, not Sten gun, but stun gun. It stuns you, sort of paralyzes you, and then you become just helpless. Anybody can do anything to you. So that blow, it's a terrific, I think, air pocket blow, which can create a mark like that. So it's a sophisticated job, done at very short notice. I mean, in a very short period, and then you just vanish. The only people who can do that are the Dubai people. They are trained, these marksmen. Now, I don't know what the status of Dawood is, whether he's supposed to be now in Karachi. But anyway, there are lots of gangsters there whom he's built a team. So it could be any of them. And why would they come? Well, this is where the real cleaning up of Bollywood becomes necessary. The Bollywood is run essentially on money laundering activities of the Dubai gang. And all actors who want to progress, actresses who want to progress, have to come and pay obeisance to Dawood, attend their parties, and women are subject to several indignities in the process. So the Dubai gang has had a grasp, and that's why you find a lot of anti-Hindu films being produced nowadays in Bollywood. So making fun of gods. You remember that PK film that was first released in Dubai. You remember, Jagdish remembers, we did a program in Pune on this, making fun of PK.
Yeah,
Bina
PK.
Bina PK.
We did
PK. I don't know what PK stood for, but the people decided to say PEEKAY, PK, that is after PK. So PK once PK after a big drink, and so we said Bina PK. We did a caricature, which was very successful. So we find also that there is a cartel in which the three Khans, Salman, and there are two others. So these three Khans form a cartel, and one of them has just been found surfacing in Turkey, and we don't know how he went to Turkey. And certainly when he comes back, he should be arrested in the airport for quarantine for 2 weeks. I don't know whether he's come back. I don't know whether he's made quiet trips to Dubai or not. But they are known to people, they are known to everybody as people who have very strong links. And they were against him. Partly because this man was a sort of an independent mind and so on. Then there's Mahesh Bhatt, whose son, was in 2611. His name came with that American Pakistani. And he was complicit in ensuring him to tour around. And the matter became curious only because of the behavior of the Bombay police. Why they were going on using section 174 when they should have used 156. 156 is registration of FIR. FIR, it says that if there is a cognizable offense, so like murder, assisted suicide, anything where there's some sort of finality, and it is a crime of violence, then you have to register an FIR. You have to, otherwise you can't do investigation. So the Bombay police took the stand. We are not investigating. We are inquiring, which is supposed to be probably a half an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. That's all under the CRPC. But they went in 65 days without registering a FIR. It's a world record, I think. India record definitely. So who are the people who are so powerful that even the government of Maharashtra is getting paralyzed? They say no CBI. Why? What is your requirement when this is if there are it goes beyond the borders of Maharashtra, goes to Dubai, and then there is another one FIR filed by the parents in Bihar. So I called up Nitish Kumar and I said, why don't you just hand it over to the CBI, because there are two states. He says, if the parents want CBI, I'll give it. So the next day the parents asked him, and he kept his word. He sent it to the central government saying, order CBI. So these people, Bombay, they went to the courts to challenge this. Riya Chakravarti, she challenged the FIR, and the people who are in favor of proper investigation, including the parents, we won. Now, this much we know, that which is not yet come in public, that one of the well-known drug distributor, his name is Ayas or something, Ayas Khan or Ayas Khan, something. He did. This is with the police in Bombay, unless they have destroyed the records. He had seen on the day of the death this man Sushanth. So therefore, could he have brought a stun gun? What I know, these are something to be followed. I'm disclosing this for the first time. So that has to be investigated, and the CBI is doing it. But this, the use of Dubai people to kill people in the film world, unless they comply, is something we have to put an end to it. So we have to end this Dubai angle in our country, in Bollywood, because so the young people watch the films and get influenced. They change their social habits. They change so many things. So we must make sure that after all, the Constitution says that these are not fundamental rights per se. They are fundamental rights subject to reasonable restrictions. And the regional restrictions is the integrity of the nation is one of the conditions. So you've got to maintain the integrity of the conditions. So the CBI inquiry is something we have to watch very carefully. And they've got very competent people they have selected. I must congratulate the director of the CBI to have selected excellent people. And also the autopsy is going to be redone. I mean, retraced rather, because he can't do it. His body has been cremated. And therefore, Dr. Sudhir Gupta, who did wonderful work in Sunanda Pushkar case, he has been made chairman of that. So I think we are now reached a watershed in our situation, and we may have a situation now where we could liberate the Bollywood from the clutches of Dubai. This is the reason why we are connecting Dubai. We think that the assassin must have been a man from Dubai, one of these hitmen, and therefore we must have it fully investigated and prosecuted.